There is a place where only the bravest dare enter, for who knows what welcome awaits them.
Yuck! Humans!
But with a little help from a passing dragon.
Stay right where you are.
And some good advice.
Nothing.
And taking care not to become a tasty snack for the local wildlife, the adventurer can triumph over nasties and monsters alike to become a true champion. Nightmare, the ultimate adventure, Friday afternoons on Anglia.
In just over 2 minutes, there'll be a full roundup of today's events in the Anglia region.
Good evening. During the next 2 or 3 days, southeasterly winds will bring some very warm air into the region, and I think those southeasterlies will keep us dry, probably through into the second half of the weekend. The satellite picture shows a lot of cloud over the British Isles. There is a clearer slot just down to the southeast of us, and that looks as though it's working its way towards us. Putting on the chart, you'll see that the thicker cloud in here is associated with this weather front that's been giving some very heavy rain down through Wales and into central southern England, but I don't think it's going to make any further progress northeastwards towards us. We're really on the fringe of the unsettled weather associated with that area of low pressure, and the low is starting to fill, so that by the middle of tomorrow we'll still be on the very edge of that unsettled weather, with a southeasterly, as I say, bringing in that warm air and the high pressure holding just up to the north of us. So I think for this evening and tonight, the dry weather continuing. For a time, I think the skies will start to clear as that clearer air comes in. The east coast, though, still rather misty with some low cloud, and with largely clear skies at times and generally light winds, it looks as though patchy mist and fog will develop, much as it did last night. And at times, I think, later on in the night, the visibility down in places below 100 yards. A very mild night, the minimum temperatures around the 10 to 12 degrees Celsius mark. The wind's quite light inland, a little bit fresh at times down near the east coast for a time overnight. Then tomorrow it looks as though we'll start off dull and misty with some patchy fog holding on for a time into the morning. Then gradually, I think, as the sun breaks through, some sunny periods develop. It may take some time, though, in the Fenland areas, for example, and I think some coastal areas rather misty through the day. Maximum temperatures certainly well up on average for the early part of October. 21 Celsius would be 70 Fahrenheit. I think that's where the best of the sunshine gets out. A little bit cooler on and near the coast. And then in the outlook for Friday and Saturday, I think the high pressure here will keep us dry and bright. We'll be watching this area of rain during the course of Sunday.
When there's a bargain to be had, antique dealers Oliver and Simon will go to any length to get it. In Never the Twain at 7 o'clock. First, the Anglia News.
Do East Anglia's nuclear stations have less than a year to run?
The Channel Rail link comes into Essex. Some say it's a boost, some say it's a disaster.
As complaints mount against British Rail, Conservatives in Blackpool talk about the Misery Line's future. Good evening. Also tonight, diabetics in East Anglia are asked to take part in a survey to test the effectiveness of different forms of insulin.
And Dr. David Owen, rebel without a party, says in Norwich it's time to declare.
But first tonight, East Anglia's 2 ageing nuclear power stations could be forced to shut down by Christmas because of safety fears. The government's safety watchdog, the Nuclear Installations Inspectorate, say they're concerned about the safety of Sizewell A in Suffolk and Bradwell in Essex. They've now put the onus on Nuclear Electric, who run the stations, to prove that there is no risk. Otherwise, they will be closed down.
Nuclear Electric have until the end of the year to prove their safety case at Sizewell A and Bradwell after sample welds at a similar Magnox reactor in Wales showed signs of embrittlement. That station has now been shut down. In a letter to Greenpeace, the Nuclear Installations Inspectorate confirmed 4 other stations, including Sizewell and Bradwell, have been told their operation beyond the end of 1991 is subject to the NII approving a revised safety case for the pressure vessel welds. If the welds weaken, cracks would appear in the reactor, and this would lead to a leak of coolant gas containing an element of contamination. But this should be detected before the situation becomes catastrophic. Nuclear Electric insists both stations are operating perfectly safely. Station manager at Sizewell A says their new safety case went before the NII in August.
It's one of many questions which the NII are always asking, and we've agreed with them a timescale for giving a response on that.
But they've set a deadline by the end of the year. Surely then they are very concerned about the condition of the wells.
No, we've agreed a timescale. In fact, we have produced a new, more searching and demanding safety case, proving to higher standards than ever before that our vessels are absolutely safe to carry on operating for years to come.
The NII are still considering their safety review, but have given assurances there is no imminent danger.
Obviously, they've got to now put forward a safety case to us and argue the case for operation beyond December. They have done that. We are in the process of detailed assessment for that. And as I say, you know, before the end of the year, our programme is we should be able to reach some firm conclusion.
Bradwell is 30 years old next year, and fears over safety have come as the station applies for an extension to continue operating into the late 1990s. £11 million are being spent on detailed inspections and modifications to bring it up to modern safety standards. And at Sizewell A, they're also making plans to extend the life of this 25-year-old station.
The Channel Tunnel rail link is now going to run through the south of Essex, a scheme welcomed by some and condemned by others. Essex County Council is in favour. Senior officials said the link would benefit business and tourism across a wide area. But wildlife enthusiasts have reacted angrily and have accused the government of flouting measures to protect the environment.
Rainham Marshes, a barren wilderness where the Channel Tunnel rail link will emerge after crossing the Thames estuary. The route announced by the government is the one supported by Essex County Council. It will provide a direct link from King's Cross in London down to the south coast, crossing the Thames near the M25. Rainham and Dartford are the locations for stations serving Essex.
It's good news for Essex. It's good news for Essex businessmen, good news for Essex business, and good news for people who are coming to Essex as tourists.
Universal Studios are still considering a film-based theme park at Rainham along similar lines to their Hollywood complex. The railing will provide direct access from Europe. A station will be built close to the existing railway line to Tilbury and close to the new proposed route for the A13. Conservationists have warned that the railing threatens valuable sites of special scientific interest. They question whether the government have carried out the environmental assessments required by European law.
They could, I think, be taken to court. That will remain to be seen. But I think more important is that many people who are concerned about the wildlife and countryside will see this as a poor announcement, and they'll see the government flaunting the law effectively.
Things won't change overnight. Planning and constructing the rail link will be a lengthy process, and Essex is not likely to notice its impact until the next century. Timothy Evans, Rainham.
The bodies of a man and woman have been found in a car on fire at an Essex beauty spot. The couple, believed to be man and wife, were found when fire crews were called to deal with the burning vehicle at Cudmore Country Park at East Mersey near Colchester this afternoon. Police say the car had been deliberately set on fire, but foul play is not suspected and they're not seeking anyone else. A man's been jailed for life for murdering a frail and elderly odd job man in Essex. The victim, 60-year-old John Mott, was knocked down, robbed of £40 and left to suffocate in the muddy ground at a beauty spot near his home in Colchester. His killer was a close friend, Conan Coles, a 25-year-old gardener from Colchester. He attacked Mr. Mott after the old man complained that Coles hadn't been to visit him.
Diabetics in East Anglia are being asked to take part in a survey to test just how effective different forms of insulin are. This follows allegations that some people using new so-called human insulin don't always experience warning signs of a drop in their blood sugar level, a condition which can lead to unconsciousness. Solicitors at Chelmsford in Essex are gathering evidence to see if there's a case for launching legal action against any of the companies that make the new insulin.
Kevin Lewis from Felixstowe is among Britain's 200,000 diabetes sufferers who rely on insulin to keep their condition in check. Initially, he used a form of insulin derived from animal products. Then he switched to a synthetic substance which matched human insulin.
Within a fortnight, 3 weeks, things started going wrong. Blackouts were coming more frequent than what they are at the moment. You didn't get no warning signs, whereas nowadays you do. At least you got a chance to go and get a sweet or something with some sugar in it to get you back to normal. Whereas the other stuff, you just didn't have no warnings at all.
Kevin is now using animal-based insulin once again. There are no side effects, and life for him has returned to normal. His story is by no means unique, but so far, doctors do not know why some sufferers appear to have no warning of so-called hypoglycemic attacks. The British Diabetic Association say they have no evidence to link human insulin itself with the lack of warning signs. Problems may result from switching between different forms of insulin, from natural fall-off of warning signs, or from new, lower blood sugar levels now recommended by doctors. More research is needed, say the association, which is why they've launched a £100,000 task force to conduct trials and to issue new guidelines. Solicitors at Chelmsford are gathering evidence to see if there's a legal remedy for insulin users who suffer side effects. They're in contact with 15 sufferers in Essex and Suffolk as part of a national survey. If the matter ever comes to court, it could be the largest case of its kind in Britain.
One of the major difficulties is the coordination of all the claims, because with such a vast number, there has to be a great deal of coordination, because obviously not every single case can go to trial.
Novo Nordisk, which markets human insulin, told us a loss of warning symptoms of hyperglycemia is a well-known complex phenomenon that can occur irrespective of the species of insulin used. Lilly Industries said in controlled clinical studies, no significant differences were seen in hypoglycemia experienced by individuals being treated with human insulin as compared to animal insulin. Insulin users can contact a new helpline organised by the British Diabetic Association. The message to sufferers is not to change their form of treatment without consulting their doctor. Timothy Evans, Essex.
And if you want that helpline number or simply more information about human and animal insulin, the Anglia Action Unit have one of their invaluable fact packs ready. Just write to Anglia Action, Ipswich, IP1 2QA, or ring now on 0473 217 363. That number again, 0473 217 363. The lines are open now.
And that's where we pause. After the break, we've talked to the Norfolk Council, who've had enough of British Rail.
And in Blackpool, the government asks British Rail to plan for privatisation. And first for sale is Essex's Misery Line.
Hey, look, some of the girls have helped Candy to design their new washing machine.
Well, jolly good for them.
They've made the door higher than before.
I like the sound of that.
And this is interesting. 5 compartments, so it uses detergent really efficiently.
Now you're talking.
The tub and drum are stainless steel, so they're designed to last.
Uh-huh.
And it's still economical with water.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about this washing machine, Celia. I think it's very good looking.
Honestly, if it's not men, it's washing machines.
It's not men.
Candy, designed with you in mind.